Hello, good morning. So today I'm going to start this Chevy Stevens Dark Road book. This is my buddy read for Patreon, and so I'm making a spoiler vlog because I do that every month for my buddy read. So I am about to start this book. Today is Sunday, April 10th. It's actually my nephew's first birthday. I don't know if you remember, but a year ago I drove to Virginia Beach in order to help my sister with her birth of her first baby, and I will link that video up here if you want to go back and see that. He's 1 now. Oh my gosh, so crazy. I actually get to see him next weekend, so I'm really excited, and I'm gonna be hopefully vlogging that experience too, so it's gonna be like a year apart. But anyway, back to the book. So I'm actually sitting outside of work. I have to work today from 9 to 7, which means that about 2 hours of my first part of the day is cleaning a turbo, and we're not open, so I can listen to my audiobook, but they did take away earbud headphone privileges because you used to be able to have like one in, and now you're not allowed to have any, so it's a little bit harder for me to listen, but I am trying to put my phone here, so that way the speaker's right here so I can hear, because there's just always so many machines going. It's kind of hard to hear. So I've actually not heard great things. A lot of friends over on Patreon have already started this, or they already read it in the last few days. They said it's very much YA feeling, so I am worried about that. And the synopsis is really big, but I do hear that I think that our main character is maybe 17 and her dad dies, and I'm not exactly sure what she's doing because of that, but I hear that it's a survival story, so I'm guessing she's either on her own or she runs away or something. I'm not sure. I do like survival though, so I am very curious to see, will I hate this book? Will I think it's okay, 3 stars, or will I give it a higher rating? So I'm actually gonna head up to work and I'm going to start listening to it, and because there's spoilers in this, I will let you know kind of what chapter I'm on before I give you the spoilers, so that way if you're reading along you can kind of figure out when to stop this video. Filing my nails before we open because cleaning that turbo really just messed them up. But I got to, I think I'm on chapter 7 of Dark Roads by Chevy Stevens. It does feel super YA, and it also feels very similar to the last Chevy Stevens book that I read, which was That Night. I just feel the similarities between the young characters, and they both have cops in them that, are they good cops, are they bad cops, that kind of thing. So kind of don't really like that it's super similar. I haven't gotten to the survival part yet. I've just been reading about how awful her uncle is, and recently found out all of the things that he's been doing to her with filming her, which is super creepy. But I don't really have any other thoughts yet about it because I'm kind of waiting for something to happen. I feel like nothing has really happened yet, if that makes sense. So I'll update you guys later once if I like read more, but I have to open right now, like customers are gonna start coming in, so I have to stop reading. Hello, good morning. So today is Monday. Last night Alvin and I were talking, and he had to be at work really early, well, like at 7:30, which is earlier than what he normally goes in. He normally goes in around 9, and unfortunately it was for like something very important, like he had to be there, and it's not like he could like really come home. But the problem with that is that we are currently giving my IVF injections at like 9 a.m. or around 9 a.m. And so unfortunately today I have to give myself my first injection. Yeah, I mean, thankfully I'm only at 1 shot a day because I'm getting ready for my transfer in a few weeks, but it's still like I have not had to actually like give myself any. Alvin has been doing all of them like in the last few months, even when I had like 2 or 3 a day. So I've been trying to put it off for as long as I can, but I have to do it now. And I am not looking forward to it, but I have to get it done, and I have to go do errands. Actually, I have my IVF blood test today later, because I should be getting some next steps on what I'm doing. I don't know if I ever showed you, but I have, well, I put all my supplies here right now, but if my supplies weren't here, I have a little like baby area. So I have our 6 frozen embryo numbers here. We bought this little whale as like a cute little first baby animal, and then this was the first book that we bought because I used to read this one to my brother, so I really like that one. And then I have our little baby Wheeler onesie here. So yeah, this is like, I walk past it every day because this is in our bedroom, obviously, and it just makes me happy. Okay, so this is my little medicine bottle here. It's Lupron. Wipe the top of it, and then this is the needle. So now I have to, we did the right side the other day, and I forgot to put the ice back on, so hold on a second. Okay, I have to do it at like, Alvin said 45 degrees, and he said I should like get it close and then like look away and then like put it in. I need like someone to be like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my gosh. It's just so hard. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm crying, but I did it. Yeah, I got it all out. Anyway, I just hope my blood test goes well today. I think because I was like worried about doing this today. Last night I was having nightmares about like, I went in and I got transfers done and like they kept not working, and I used up like 3 of my 6 embryos. I was like getting really upset that like I still hadn't had a pregnancy yet, and I was like halfway through like what I had. So I think it's just because like I am getting closer to the transfer. Like I was being like super positive about it, and now it's like getting a little hard to not doubt or like not doubt it, but like not worry about like what is happening in the future. But we did it. We did our shot and that is done and over with. I can now get ready for the rest of my day.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. The fuck's wrong with them? I don't understand.
Okay, it has been a busy day. I am in the drive-thru for Starbucks. I'm actually gonna be headed home. I just did my last appointment, which was to get blood done. But gosh, yeah, it's been so busy. So this morning I went and I dropped off my ring to get resized because I haven't been wearing my wedding and engagement ring for a year now because I just gained too much weight. And since I'm gonna be getting pregnant, I'm gonna be heavier anyway. So I am getting it sized from a 6 to a 7.5, and that's $319. Yeah, so that's expensive. Then after I did that, I drove up to where we used to live. It's about 45 minutes away, and I had to get an oil change, so I did that, and that was $111. And then I ran into Aldi because I had to get some groceries, and then I had to go to my dentist appointment, which was at 1 o'clock, and I was like 5 minutes late for that. And then that took like a whole hour to do that. So when I was done with that, I quick ran to the library to drop off the books that were due, that needed to go back to, this is like my old library. So I only go there like when I travel up here. And then I had to drive even further, another like 30 minutes to come to the town where my IVF clinic is, and I had to give blood, which I actually had to sit there for 30 minutes. Normally they're really, really quick. They were kind of behind today. So yeah, it took 30 minutes for them to call me up to do, you know, 2 minutes of taking my blood. And so now I am grabbing a Starbucks coffee, and I'm going to be driving the hour and 20 minutes home in order for me to make dinner for when my husband gets home. I really should be editing some videos, but I'll probably do that tomorrow before I go into work, and I'm probably just gonna relax the rest of the night because it's been so much running around. I don't know, I might start a new TV show. I'm totally getting a venti today though because I have stars to use, so this order is gonna be free. So I have been listening to Dark Roads by Chevy Stevens, and I am now on chapter 19, and I am so incredibly bored. This book, like, I don't even know how to explain what it's about because it's like not about anything. The synopsis like had said it was gonna be about this like highway where these girls get like murdered and disappear, which is actually a real thing. I'm told there's like a podcast episode about it, so I should probably look that up and do some research on it. Even though this book mentions that, and our main character, who's like 17, her name is Haley, she was orphaned and she goes to live with her aunt and uncle. And anyway, her uncle, spoiler alert, turns out to be this like sexual predator. Even though he's a cop, and he has been like filming and taking pictures of her and like her girlfriend Amber, and she finds this out, but he threatens her, so she can't really do anything about it. So instead she runs away, and so everyone thinks that like the killer got her, but she actually just ran away, and then she's surviving. I don't know, it's very, very random. And now I'm in part 2, which is about Beth, which is Amber's sister. So apparently, another spoiler, apparently Amber gets killed by the killer, which I think it's the cop guy. All right, I gotta order. Hi, can I get a venti flat white? Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have gotten it iced with vanilla sweet cream on top of it, but I didn't. Oh well. It's still good hot. I do prefer my coffee hot. Like I do like cold brew and like iced coffees sometimes, but like not the way that everyone else in the world drinks them now. I actually prefer my coffee hot. And that's about it. Like that's literally the only things that have really happened. I don't really care about anybody. It is not thrilling at all. And like I said, like I feel like Vaughn, who is this bad cop, I feel pretty certain that he's the killer. And the last like Chevy Stevens book that I read, like also there was no shock or twist. It was like the bad person was the bad person. Yeah, those are my thoughts so far. Not really liking it. And everyone was saying how it was like a survival story. I don't know if I just didn't get to the part yet, but like I don't really feel like I read anything about her surviving. I'm actually currently 50% of the way through. So I've made it, I've literally read half of the book. I can't believe I read half of the book, and like, I feel like we haven't even gotten to anywhere yet. Like, I have now read so many Chevy Stevens books. I only have one more of hers to read that's on my shelf, and out of all of the ones that I've read, I have only given one 5 stars, and all the rest I've given 2 and 3 stars, and this one is probably gonna be a 2 or 3 star. I guess I just had really good luck that first book.
we'll stay here for a week or so. Just watch the corn grow in the fields. I don't know what's on your mind, but I know that it's something about you and me. I'll stay here for as long as I can, through the storms and through the calm. When you smile at me, I slowly begin to realize that you are the one.
Hello. Okay, it is 9:30. I feel like today literally just flew by. It went so fast because I had, you know, so many errands and stuff to do. So I got home at like 5:30. I ended up cooking dinner, which I filmed because I've been putting together over on my main channel like 5 days worth of meals, like what I cook and stuff, with directions and stuff, which is really, it's actually really fun. I like doing those. And then I had reading sprints on Patreon. So we read from 7 to 9 with some breaks in between, and it's so fun. I always love talking to everyone. They're so nice. And I ended up reading up until like this far. I only have this much left. So I think it said I was like 67% through. I'm on page 273. But I am not liking it at all. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna rate it like maybe even 1 star, but it's almost as if like the book is just filled with words. There's like nothing else happening. I thought it was gonna be about this like creepy highway where like murders happened, but it's honestly about a 17-year-old who is an orphan, doesn't like living with her uncle, which like, I mean, understandable, but she runs away and lives in the wild, actually in her dad's like old cabin, like hunting cabin, which is weird to me that no one has found her there because there's other hunters out there. And then I got to the next part, which is about Beth, who is the sister of Amber, who is actually like the first girl I was talking about. Her name is Haley, but Amber and Haley were actually like kind of dating, and then Haley had ran away, but she wants everyone to think that she went missing. Amber ends up getting murdered by like the killer, which I think is the bad cop, but I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely am like swayed that way. And so now we have Beth like going into the wilderness to try and figure out like what happened with her sister and where is Haley. And then she finds Haley, and I don't know. It just feels like nothing is happening. It's just the same thing over and over again. Vaughn, who's the bad cop, he's such a bad guy, but we can't tell anybody. But he's such a bad guy, but we can't tell anybody. But he's such a bad guy, so we'll just run away. But he's such a bad guy. We can't tell anybody. Like, I feel like that's all it is over and over again. So I am not loving it at all. And now that I'm done with my sprints, like I am just done reading for the night. I turned on the TV because I'm about to play Stardew on the TV with some of my friends because I love it. Alvin actually had to end up going back to work. He worked like 7:30 to 5. And then he came home until he just left at 9 o'clock because he has to do like a midnight breakfast because we work at a college and it's like finals week and stuff. So he's actually not coming back until like after midnight. So I'm probably gonna stay up and wait for him, and I'm gonna play my game the whole time. So I will check up with you guys in the morning when I actually decide to finish this terrible book. Hello. Today is the next day, and I am about to head up to work. It's almost 3 o'clock. I work 3 to 11:30 tonight. I have not read any more in my book since last night, so I'm the same, like, you know, I have a little bit left. I am not sure though if I'm gonna be able to read at work because like I don't clean the turbo or anything, and now that we're not allowed to have headphones in, I doubt anybody's gonna wanna listen to my audiobook while I'm like cooking, like before we open. It might annoy the heck out of people, so I might not be able to really read any of it unless I'm on my break. It's been a few days because I just didn't feel like reading more of this, but we are leaving tomorrow. So I figured I should finish this tonight because I wanna bring a different book on my trip, especially since it's ridiculous if I bring this huge thing when there's only a little bit left. But I did get to, so far, I got to chapter, I think 36. I finally found out who the killer was, which I was very underwhelmed by because I just like, I keep getting parts of this book mixed up with the last Chevy Stevens book that I read, which was That Night, because it's so similar. It's written so similar. Like, obviously these are young kids, they're like 17 years old, and that's how it was in the other Chevy Stevens book, except it did like flip-flop between like in the future. But our main character like worked at this restaurant and had this really nice boss, and that's the same thing how it is in here. So like, we find out that Mason is the killer, but I was like, who's Mason? I like totally didn't even remember like who this character was, and I didn't remember really about like the diner. And maybe it's also because it's been like, I've been trying to read this for like a week now, I'm not sure, but obviously I just don't care about this book, and I'm not retaining the information because I don't like it and it's really boring. So anyway, let's just say that I'm very underwhelmed with who the killer is, because I didn't even know who the killer was. I am now, only have this much left, so I'm gonna try and keep reading so I can finish it. I hear the epilogue is like really crazy, weird. Morning, it's 10:30. I'm actually packing and getting ready because we're gonna be leaving and driving to Virginia Beach to go to my sister's house. I actually have all of my books packed up. These are the books that like I've been selling and getting rid of. I'm actually gonna go to the book exchange in Virginia Beach so that way I can see if they are gonna take some of these books, and then they give you like credit for it. And so I actually do have credit from the last time I went last year. So I'm gonna be looking around, seeing if there's any of like my favorites books that I wanna add to my favorite shelf, or also if there's any books that I like currently have on my wish list, then I will probably pick those up, since I only really go to the book exchange maybe twice a year. But I did finish Dark Roads, and did you see that? Did you see that? Oh. Anyway, so I finished Dark Roads, 1 star. That's why it's in the bags of see you bye. Let me move into the bedroom because I have my little robot vacuum going. So did not like it. I honestly did not like any part. Then when you get to the epilogue, like I feel like the book was just trying to be way too many things. Number one, this book is absolutely not an adult thriller. Not at all. Not even close. Not even a little tiny bit close. It is definitely young adult. It should be labeled young adult because I feel like it's attracting the wrong audience. The characters are all like 17, 18, maybe 20, like all the main characters. I didn't like any of the characters. One of my main problems I have is at the end, like when you get to the author's note, she talks about how this book is based off of the, is it called The Highway of Tears, I think it was called, where a lot of Indigenous women have gone missing, been killed over the years. So I actually need to still listen to that podcast episode. I actually haven't done much research, but the author's note like kind of told you about it. Chevy Stevens says how, oh yeah, like she loves that story. She wanted to like give justice to the Indigenous women and like write a book that had like a better ending than obviously those women got. But I did not feel like this book even was about that. Like if you would have not told me that, if I would have not read the author's note, nothing in this book was about the highway. I think there was just a very, very, very small part in the beginning where they're talking about the dangers of the highway. That's a very small focal point of the whole entire story, and the rest of the story is very, very much so character driven. I didn't even feel like there was a survival aspect at all, because I was really excited to like, okay, let's see how you know, Haley's going to survive in the forest. I feel like that was skimmed over very fast, and then all of a sudden it flipped to Beth halfway through, and you were like, well, who is Beth? Like, what are we doing over here? I just felt like the whole book was very messy, and it also reminded me a lot of That Night by Chevy Stevens, which is a book that I just read last month. I kept getting some of the things like mixed up. For instance, in That Night, there's a restaurant with like a really nice boss that the main character is working for, and then in this one, there is a diner with a really nice boss that also these girls are working for. So I just kept getting mixed up and being confused, like, oh, did I read this in another book? Was this in this book? I forgot all the names because I was still thinking about the last book. And so I think that Chevy Stevens just did not do a good job with this book. I mean, that is my honest opinion. I'm not trying to be mean or hurtful towards the author. It just was a miss for me for those specific reasons. I also think, like, going into some of the spoilers, it's hard for me to believe when they take this like serial killer that has been killing women for years, has gone unnoticed, the police don't know, nobody knows what's going on, and then when a teenager, a like 17, 18, 19-year-old comes and is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to solve this mystery. And then they figure out who the killer is and then they actually murder him. Really? I don't think that actually happens in real life most of the time, okay? I work with a lot of 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and no offense if you are one, they have a hard time even building a sandwich correctly at work, okay? They have a hard time even mopping the floor. They don't know how to sweep or mop. So it sometimes shocks me when these like teens can be just like this badass character and, you know, do things that all the adults couldn't do. So I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody. I know that there are very competent teens, but it always shocks me that there's always the competent teens in a book, especially after they were like immature in the first half. Okay, that's it. I'm done ranting and raving. I need to finish packing and we have to get on the road. Hopefully the book exchange once this book, so that way I can get something I like.